Okay, so like imagine, being able to see underground like with X-ray vision.
Yeah.
Right. But instead of X-rays, we're talking sound waves.
It's like a superpower, right? Being able to see what's hidden beneath the Earth's surface.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. Seismic imaging.
Yeah.
And all the amazing things it could do.
It's incredible how this technology has evolved.
I know, right? From just finding oil and gas to like helping us monitor the health of the planet in so many different ways.
It's really come a long way.
So how does this, underground vision actually work?
Well, the basic idea is pretty simple, actually.
Okay.
It's kind of like how sonar uses sound waves to map the ocean floor.
Right.
We send sound waves into the ground and then analyze how they bounce back.
So those echoes tell us what's down there.
Exactly. By measuring how long it takes for the sound waves to return and how their characteristics change as they pass through different materials.
Like different types of rock or soil or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We can build up a three-dimensional picture of what's hidden beneath the surface.
That's so cool. So like, are we talking like caves and oil deposits and like all that?
All that and more. We can map geological formations, identify faults and fractures, even pinpoint underground resources like water or minerals.
So it's not just for like big oil companies anymore.
Not at all. This technology has applications in all sorts of fields, from environmental monitoring to archaeology to even construction and engineering.
Wow. Okay, so like to do all this, we need some pretty high-tech equipment, right?
Of course.
Hmm.
And one of the key pieces of equipment is something called a geophone.
A geophone. What's that?
Think of it like a super sensitive microphone.
Okay.
But instead of listening to sounds in the air, it listens to vibrations in the ground.
So like the sound waves bouncing back from underground.
Exactly. The geophone picks up those vibrations and converts them into electrical signals that we can then analyze.
And how about the article, we're diving into today? Where does that fit into all this?
Ah, yes. Our guide for this deep dive is an article by William L. Weaver, published back in August 2002 in a journal called Scientific Computing and Instrumentation.
2002. So this technology has been around for a while.
It has. And even back then, Weaver was talking about the potential of seismic imaging to help us meet future energy demands.
He was ahead of his time.
For sure. And it's amazing to see how many of his predictions have actually come true.
Okay, so let's talk about these geophones a bit more.
Sure. So in the early days, these geophones were analog devices.
Analog, like old school technology.
Exactly. They relied on a coil and a magnet to generate an electrical signal from the ground vibrations.
Interesting. But I'm guessing analog geophones had their limitations, right?
They did. They were bulky, sensitive to temperature changes, and required really careful placement to get accurate readings.
So not exactly ideal for like rugged terrain or extreme environments.
Not really. But then came a game changer, the digital geophone.
Ooh, digital. That sounds more like it. What's the difference?
Well, digital geophones are much smaller, for one thing.
Oh.
And they're way more robust and can handle a much wider range of environmental conditions.
So we can use them in like all sorts of crazy places now.
Pretty much. And the data quality is also much better.
So how do they make these digital geophones so much better?
The secret sauce is a technology called MEMS.
MEMS. What's that stand for?
Microelectromechanical systems.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Think of it like this. You know how your smartphone can tell when you rotate the screen?
Yeah.
Or how it tracks your steps?
Oh, yeah.
That's all thanks to tiny MEMS sensors inside.
So they put these tiny sensors into the geophones.
Exactly. And these sensors are amazing. They're incredibly sensitive and can measure the acceleration of ground vibrations directly.
So that's how they get such good data.
It's a big part of it. The signal-to-noise ratio is much higher with digital geophones, which means we get a much clearer picture of what's happening underground.
Wow. So it's like trading in your old fuzzy TV for a brand new high-definition one.
That's a great analogy. You're getting a much sharper image with a lot more detail.
So this shift to digital geophones sounds like a huge win.
It was, but it also brought about some new challenges.
Oh, like what?
Well, think about it. We're now talking about thousands of these digital geophones spread out over a large area,
Okay.
all continuously recording ground vibrations.
That's a lot of data.
It's a massive amount of information, and that's where the real power of digital comes in.
How so?
Because we've had to develop new ways to store, process, and analyze all this data.
So it's not just about the geophones themselves. It's about what we do with the information they gather.
Exactly. And this data explosion has coincided with incredible advancements in computing power and software development.
So it's like the perfect storm.
In a way. We have the technology to gather vast amounts of data, and now we have the tools to actually make sense of it all.
So what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, we need sophisticated algorithms to filter out the noise
Okay.
and to extract the meaningful insights from these massive data sets.
I'm guessing that's where fields like data science and machine learning come into play?
Absolutely. These fields are revolutionizing how we analyze and interpret seismic data.
So it's not just about geologists anymore. It's about mathematicians and computer scientists, too.
It's a truly interdisciplinary field, and it's leading to some really groundbreaking discoveries.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, for instance, we're now able to create time-lapse images of the subsurface.
Time-lapse. You mean like a movie of what's happening underground?
Pretty much. It's called 4D seismic imaging.
4D. That sounds even cooler than 3D.
It is. Because instead of just a single snapshot of what's underground, we can actually track changes over time.
So we can see how things are moving and shifting beneath the surface.
Exactly. And this has massive implications for how we manage our resources,
Okay.
monitor environmental changes, and even predict potential hazards.
So this 4D seismic imaging really is a game changer.
It is. It's giving us an unprecedented view into the dynamics of our planet.
And it all started with those little geophones listening to the whispers of the earth.
It's amazing what we can learn when we just stop and listen.
Okay, so I'm definitely intrigued.
I thought you might be.
Can you give us a concrete example of how this 4D imaging is being used? Like something we can really picture.
Absolutely. Let's take the oil and gas industry, for example.
Okay.
4D seismic imaging is being used to monitor how oil and gas are flowing through reservoirs.
As they're being extracted.
Exactly. This helps optimize production,
Okay.
ensuring we're getting the most out of these resources
Right.
while also minimizing the environmental impacts.
So it's a win-win situation.
In many ways, yes. We're using technology to extract resources more efficiently and to do it in a way that's more sustainable for the planet.
That's pretty amazing. So we've gone from simply seeing static structures underground to actually visualizing these dynamic processes in action.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and our desire to understand the world around us.
And that journey of understanding doesn't stop there, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
What's even more exciting is to think about what the future holds for this technology.
Ooh, I love speculating about the future.
Me too. Well, one thing's for sure. We're going to see continued advancements in sensor technology.
Like even better geophones.
Exactly. Imagine even more sensitive and miniaturized geophones,
Okay.
capable of detecting even the slightest ground vibrations.
Wow.
This would allow us to image even deeper into the Earth and gather even more detailed information.
So we could see things we've never been able to see before.
Exactly. And those advancements in computing power and data analysis will keep pace as well.
So we'll be able to handle all that extra data.
No problem. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are going to play an increasingly important role in unlocking even more insights from the data.
AI and machine learning. So like those sci-fi movies where computers are doing all the thinking.
Not quite. But AI and machine learning are powerful tools that can help us make sense of complex data.
Okay.
Imagine being able to create real-time 3D models of the subsurface.
Real time. You mean like a live feed of what's happening underground?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The model would be constantly updated as new data comes in.
So we could practically see the Earth breathing.
Exactly. It would be incredible. And beyond the technical advancements, I wonder how the applications of this technology will continue to expand.
Yeah, me too. Like, what other cool things could we do with this underground vision?
The possibilities are endless. We've already talked about oil and gas.
Right.
But imagine using 4D seismic imaging to monitor groundwater resources.
Okay.
Track the movement of contaminants.
Oh, so we could like see pollution spreading underground.
Exactly. Or we could map geothermal energy potential.
To like find new sources of renewable energy.
Precisely. We could even explore archaeological sites without having to dig a single trench.
Whoa. That would be amazing. No more digging giant holes in the ground.
Well, we might still need to do some digging eventually, but 4D seismic imaging could help archaeologists pinpoint the most promising locations to excavate.
So it's like a treasure map for archaeologists.
That's a great way to put it. We're using technology to uncover the hidden stories of our past.
This is also fascinating. We've come so far from those early analog geophones, and it seems like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with this technology.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field, and who knows what amazing discoveries await us in the years to come.
Well, I, for one, can't wait to see what the future holds. But for now, let's take a closer look at some of the specific applications of this technology.
Sounds good to me. Let's dive deeper into how this underground vision is being used to solve real-world problems.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, then, buckle up. One of the things I find most fascinating about 4D seismic imaging is how it can help us understand how fluids move underground. And
Okay.
we're not just talking about oil and gas here, but also groundwater.
Right, which is like essential for so many people around the world.
Exactly. It's a vital resource for countless communities, and with growing concerns about water scarcity and contamination.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
Being able to track the movement of groundwater is becoming more and more crucial.
So how does 4D imaging help with that?
Well, it can help us identify aquifers.
Aquifers. Remind me of what those are again.
Sure, aquifers are basically underground layers of rock or sediment that hold groundwater.
Okay, so like underground reservoirs of water.
Exactly. And 4D seismic imaging allows us to monitor how those aquifers are being recharged or depleted over time.
So we can see if an aquifer is being overdrawn.
Precisely, which could potentially lead to water shortages.
That's important information to have.
It is. And we can also track the movement of contaminants in groundwater.
Contaminants, like pollution.
Exactly. Imagine there's a leak from an industrial site or a landfill.
Okay.
By using 4D seismic imaging, we can monitor how those contaminants are spreading underground.
So we can contain them before they reach drinking water sources.
That's the goal. It's like having an early warning system for potential groundwater contamination.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. And speaking of environmental protection, we should also talk about the role of 4D seismic imaging in monitoring carbon capture and storage.
CCS.
Yeah, CCS. It's a critical technology for mitigating climate change.
Right, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
It involves capturing carbon dioxide emissions from like power plants and stuff.
And then storing them safely underground, often in depleted oil and gas reservoirs.
Okay, so where does 4D imaging come in?
Well, it's essential for ensuring the integrity of those storage sites.
How so?
By monitoring the subsurface over time, we can detect any potential leaks or migration of the stored carbon dioxide.
So we can make sure the CO2 stays put.
Exactly. This gives us the confidence that CCS is working as intended.
And that we're not accidentally releasing CO2 back into the atmosphere.
Right. It's a big responsibility, and 4D seismic imaging helps us ensure that we're doing it right.
So this technology is playing a key role in the fight against climate change.
Absolutely. And William L. Weaver also touched upon another interesting application in his 2002 article.
What's that?
He mentioned the potential of this technology to monitor the integrity of well bores.
Well bores.
Yeah, those deep wells used for oil and gas extraction,
Okay.
geothermal energy production, and
Nah.
even underground storage of various materials?
Right. Those things can be pretty dangerous if they're not properly maintained.
Exactly. The integrity of those well bores is paramount. Any leaks or failures could have significant environmental and economic consequences.
So how does 4D imaging help prevent those kinds of disasters?
Well, it allows us to monitor the condition of the wellbore and the surrounding rock formations over time.
So we can spot potential problems before they turn into major incidents.
That's the idea. It's all about proactive monitoring and risk mitigation.
So 4D imaging is like a safety net for all sorts of underground activities.
You could say that. And it's not just about wellbore integrity. We can also use it to monitor the stability of underground infrastructure like tunnels, pipelines, even underground waste disposal sites.
Wow, so this technology is really becoming indispensable for ensuring the safety and sustainability of our underground activities.
It is. It's like having X-ray vision for the Earth.
I like that analogy.
It highlights the fact that we're no longer limited to just exploring static structures underground. 4D seismic imaging is giving us the ability to visualize dynamic processes.
To understand how the Earth is constantly changing beneath our feet.
Exactly. And that understanding is leading to some pretty remarkable innovations.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, I'm thinking about how 4D seismic imaging is being used in geothermal energy exploration.
Geothermal energy, that's like harnessing the heat from the Earth's interior, right?
Precisely. It's a fantastic source of renewable energy, but finding those geothermal hotspots can be tricky.
So how does 4D imaging help?
By monitoring the subsurface over time, we can identify areas where hot fluids are rising closer to the surface.
Okay.
This information is invaluable for guiding the placement of geothermal wells.
So we can tap into those geothermal resources more efficiently.
Exactly. Increasing the efficiency and reducing the costs of geothermal energy production.
So it's not just about finding resources, it's about finding them in a way that's more sustainable and cost-effective.
You got it. And this theme of sustainability extends to other applications as well.
Like what?
For example, 4D seismic imaging is being used to monitor the impact of underground mining operations,
Okay.
helping to minimize subsidence and other environmental impacts.
So we're using technology to reduce the negative effects of our activities.
Precisely. It's all about finding that balance between meeting our needs and protecting our planet.
It seems like this technology is constantly evolving with new applications emerging all the time. What are some of the emerging trends that you find particularly exciting?
Well, one trend that I'm really fascinated by is the increasing use of fiber optic sensing in conjunction with 4D seismic imaging.
Fiber optic sensing. That sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Imagine this. We install fiber optic cables in the subsurface,
Okay.
either in existing well bores or by drilling dedicated monitoring wells.
Got it.
Then we send pulses of light down those cables.
Pulses of light.
Yeah. And just like sound waves, light waves are affected by changes in temperature, pressure, and strain in the surrounding rock.
So by analyzing how those light waves travel back up the cable,
We can gather even more data about what's happening underground.
that's cool. So we're getting even more information about the subsurface.
And the beauty of fiber optic sensing is that it provides continuous real-time monitoring.
Real time. So we're not limited to just taking snapshots at specific intervals.
Exactly. We're getting a constant stream of data, which can be incredibly valuable for understanding dynamic processes.
That's a game changer. Real-time monitoring could revolutionize how we manage underground operations, predict potential hazards, and respond to emergencies.
It could. Imagine being able to detect a leak in a pipeline or a shift in a fault line as it's happening.
That would be incredible.
It would. And when you combine the high-resolution spatial imaging of 4D seismic with the continuous real-time monitoring of fiber optic sensing...
You get an incredibly powerful tool for understanding and managing the subsurface.
Precisely. It's like having eyes and ears everywhere underground.
It's amazing.
It is, and that's not all.
There's more.
Another exciting trend is the integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning into 4D seismic data analysis.
AI and machine learning. So those are making their way into this field too.
Absolutely. And it makes sense given the sheer volume of data we're dealing with.
Right. It would take forever for humans to analyze all that data manually.
Exactly. AI algorithms can help us automate many of the tasks that are currently done manually.
Like what?
Well, for example, they can help us identify subtle changes in the seismic data that might indicate a potential problem.
Okay.
This frees up geoscientists to focus on the more complex aspects of interpretation and decision-making.
So it's like having a super smart assistant helping us make sense of all the data.
That's a good analogy. And this is just the beginning.
You mean AI is going to play an even bigger role in the future?
Absolutely. As AI and machine learning continue to advance, I think we'll see even more transformative applications in this field.
Like what? Give me a glimpse into the future.
Imagine AI algorithms that can predict reservoir behavior, optimize well placement, and even identify new exploration targets.
Whoa. So AI could help us find new oil and gas deposits or geothermal hotspots.
It's possible. We're talking about a whole new level of intelligence and automation in subsurface exploration and monitoring.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a new era of understanding of what lies beneath our feet.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field, that's for sure.
I agree. But I do have one last question.
Go for it.
We've talked a lot about the amazing things 4D seismic imaging can do,
We have.
but what about its limitations? Are there certain geological environments where it's less effective?
That's a great question. And like any technology, 4D seismic imaging does have its limitations.
Okay.
One of the main challenges is resolution.
Resolution, like the clarity of the images.
Exactly. The deeper we go and the more complex the geology becomes, the harder it is to get a clear and detailed image.
So it's like trying to see through a dense fog.
Perfect analogy. The seismic waves get scattered and attenuated as they travel through the Earth, and this can make it difficult to distinguish between different rock types or to accurately image complex geological structures.
So there are still some frontiers that 4D seismic imaging has yet to conquer.
Absolutely.
That.
But that's what makes this field so exciting.
How so?
We're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, developing new techniques and technologies to overcome those limitations.
So it's a never-ending quest for knowledge and innovation.
You could say that. We're driven by a desire to understand our planet and to use that understanding to create a better future.
Well, I'm eager to hear more about those advancements. But for now, let's take a break and then come back to explore some of the ethical considerations surrounding this powerful technology. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive about, seismic imaging.
We have.
From the, basic transfers to
Yeah.
all those amazing applications of 4D technology.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, really.
It's just incredible how much we can learn about our planet, you know?
Right, just by listening.
Yeah, just by listening to how those sound waves travel through it.
It's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
It is, and as we've been discussing, this technology has come such a long way.
Yeah, from those early days of like analog geophones
Got
to
it.
today where we're talking about, digital sensors and massive data sets.
Right, and all those sophisticated algorithms.
Yeah, all that's helping us unlock this whole new level of understanding of what's happening below the surface.
And it's not just about understanding, is it?
Mhm.
It's about using that knowledge to make, better decisions about how we do things.
Exactly.
Like how we manage our resources,
Yeah.
Protect our environment, ensure a sustainable future and all that.
You hit the nail on the head.
So whether we're talking about like optimizing oil and gas production or monitoring groundwater or even making sure that carbon capture and storage is working properly, 4D seismic imaging is like right there at the forefront.
It really is.
So looking back at William L. Weaver's article from 2002,
Yeah.
what are some of the predictions that he made that have like actually come true?
Well, one thing that really stands out is his emphasis on the growing importance of like computing power and data analysis.
Okay.
He recognized even back then that the future of seismic imaging wasn't just about acquiring data, but about what we could do with it.
Yeah, like how we could process it and analyze it and really extract, meaningful insights from all that information.
Exactly.
And that's certainly come true. Like today we're talking about terabytes of data generated by these surveys.
It's crazy.
I know. And it's thanks to the power of modern computing,
Yeah.
and all the sophisticated algorithms that we can even make sense of it all.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would be totally overwhelming.
Totally. Weaver also highlighted the potential of 4D seismic imaging to go beyond just static snapshots and actually monitor these like dynamic processes.
Yeah. And that's what we've been talking about today.
He kind of envisioned this future where we could track fluid flow, monitor reservoir changes, and even predict, potential hazards in real time.
And it's happening.
It's remarkable how this technology is just like transforming our understanding of how the Earth works,
It is.
from the movement of groundwater to, the stability of all that underground infrastructure.
It's a revolution, really.
A revolution in subsurface exploration and monitoring.
And as we've discussed, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the human ingenuity, the collaboration that's driving this field forward.
It's all the geoscientists and the engineers and data scientists and software developers.
All the people working together.
Yeah, just pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly.
It's a great reminder that even the most complex technologies are ultimately like tools, tools for human progress and understanding. And for anyone listening out there who's intrigued by this field,
Yeah,
I imagine there are so many opportunities to get involved.
absolutely. If you're passionate about science and technology and the environment, and you're excited by the idea of like exploring this hidden world beneath our feet,
Yeah.
this could be the perfect field for you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
let's leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
The ability to, see with sound, it's just one example of all these incredible tools that we're developing to explore our planet.
It's true.
And there are countless other mysteries out there just waiting to be unlocked.
Absolutely.
And it's up to us, to use our ingenuity, our curiosity, our collaboration to find the answers.
Well said.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions.
Yeah, and never stop listening.
Never stop listening to the whispers of the earth.
You never know what amazing discoveries might be waiting just beneath the surface.
That's a great way to end it, I think.
I agree.